team, and when Ohio State showed themselves, and throughout all these seasons, they've been known to have a very structured offense.
The wait is over. University of Guelph taking on the Ohio State University. One moves on, one goes home. Gentlemen, let's rock it.
One of the questions is, how do these teams perform off the kickoff? It was Guelph who won it, but they didn't get much going out of it. Lycan having to pick this up is immediately challenged by threes on the play. Kings here challenged by Lycan. J-Bob's got to look at it. He wanted the pass to Kings. It was a little too close to Harps on the play, but still hopping up for it. And it's cleared out. University of Guelph looking to move forward.
Plasma trying to find the ball down the field. He's been a player to really push the offense for Guelph in multiple seasons here at the CRL. This one, no different. It's stopped up immediately from Ohio State, and a shot ripped there. Plasma on the backfield having to make the save.
And off the backboard, Lycan's there. Not a ton of action here so far. You see Ohio State looking. Here's the shot on net, and Harps right into his bumper. And just to buy a little bit of time, Plasma's had a boost on the play. Threes has a ton, and I believe everyone on the Buckeyes have a good amount of boost to work with here in the corner. Here's J-Bob looking for threes, and threes flipping away from the ball. Did not want to risk it. It could have been a potential boomer the other way.
Well, to be fair to threes, he was rotating out. He did use all of his boosts. We saw him go up for that play off the back wall, and he could have maybe gotten the backflip there if he read the play, read the pass. I think he expected the shot coming out from his teammate.
That shot up high, off the backboard, forces Lycan up. King still has a play on the ball, and he just flips past it. So far for Ohio State, been keeping the ball close to them, even on the offensive end, and they've just been solid on the rotation here early. That shot off the post, King snuck in there. Threes just off the back wall, and Plasma's there. Guelph have been challenged laterally on the defensive end. They get another clear here, but another couple like that, you might be talking about a Buckeyes goal.
That's the second time Kings has had a real good look at the net there, just not able to convert. Here's a pass out to Kings once more. Off the crossbar, goes off threes. And it drops for the Buckeyes.
You love to see it if you're a Buckeyes fan. Threes. He just gets a solid touch out against, or a solid pass out, excuse me, and he just falls. Inertia says, here you go, threes, and Threes says, hey, thanks.
I think you might file that one under calculated. Threes just happen to be there in the position. The Ohio State, their speed, if they match it with accuracy, they're going to blow up this scoreboard.
It bounces off the ramp. Plasma came out of the net and maybe had a chance, but threes gone. J-Bob tries his best to win that challenge with no boost, and he effectively wins it with little to do. He shoots, and he's blocked there by Harps on the play. A quick pass out the threes, back to J-Bob, looking towards the middle. A great play, but saved. And Harps gonna try to pick this up. Still, the Buckeyes, the Ohio State A team. It almost feels like the enhanced version of the B team with these passing plays. The Buckeyes had a couple of them on the B squad, but the A squad really kicking it here. Here's Kings off the backboard, flying in. Oh, he's threes, and he hits the crossbar. J-Bob buys plenty of time, and such a smart touch from him. He could have just kicked it against the corner, but instead he opted for control. He knows he has to buy time for the rest of the Buckeyes to get back to the defensive end. That's exactly what he does there. Brilliant play by J-Bob.
A lot of selfless play coming out from the Buckeyes right now. Another shot off the crossbar. The Griffins are just sitting in the net hoping that Ohio State don't put it on target. They are ripping shots left and right, full control of the boost, full control of possession right now, and Ohio State is not letting up.
And Kings just takes a pot shot down the field, forces Plasma to have to make a touch out. And you see threes, he picks up that corner boost again. The midfield boost is owned by the Buckeyes. Kings, he has plenty of time to do what he wants here. Threes has to reset himself, and Kings gonna carry it himself out. He wins one challenge, and it's boomed away. So Guelph, you've defended the corners well, but you haven't done much else, and that's not a good touch for him. J-Bob punishes Ohio State 2-0.
And the Griffins finally make a mistake on defense here. After all that pressure, it's just a touch from Plasma straight back to J-Bob, and you got to put that one away every single time. The Buckeyes now extend their lead by 2.
You know, I said going into this, I was really impressed with J-Bob's defense. He's like, have you seen me in a replay? Have you seen what I can do when I can spike these balls? The Ohio State, they're starting to get away with it.
And J-Bob trying to go under Harps, and Harps, he recovers quickly to make the save. This is still raiding home a wide open net, and if you're Ohio State, you cannot give Guelph that kind of hope.
They sent the house on that play. 2 players on the side of Ohio State fly into the back wall there, and Guelph had a wide open field. J-Bob had no boost after making the play there, and Ohio State give up a freebie.
It reminds me of the Arizona Wildcats when they would be so aggressive on offense. Every now and again, a ball would just squeak by them. And as long as they're scoring goals, they're perfectly fine with it.
And as long as Ohio State don't give up any more open nets, I mean, this is still their game to lose. Look at this touch by J-Bob, but playing it safe are both members of Ohio State. The demo maybe opens things up here for the Griffins. Just off, looking for the pass over to Harps. Harps shot just high above the crossbar, and now tapped out. It's only over to Lycan. And Harps running away there. He had no boost to try to challenge that against J-Bob. J-Bob, he's over one, forces Lycan up to make the save, and it's been nothing but Buckeye shot after shot after shot. A relentless drive in a stake into the heart of this Guelph team in game number 1, who have had no offense at all. J-Bob almost getting the flip reset. By the way, I believe he was the only owner of a flip reset goal in the fall season of CRL. So, you know, J-Bob, well done there. But they own game 1. J-Bob, dunk master.
Puts it home for the Buckeyes and puts away game number 1 here. Fantastic play, using that flip to carry his momentum to the ball off the back wall. He smacks it into the ground, uses the bounce, and the Buckeyes up by 2 once more. 3 goals in their name.
Some say he's still hanging on the rim to this day. When you're able to get a dunk like that, you go ahead and pat yourself on the back and put the final touches on game number 1.
And so for Guelph, did they have more than one shot on net that entire game? Because it really didn't feel like it. The Buckeyes owned the pitch the entire way through, and I was just really impressed by this team's ability and really pure moxie on the field against Guelph. 2 shots on net for Guelph, and that's exactly how it felt.
I mean, the one goal that they got was just a random squeak to the other side of the field because the Ohio State was already in position to get another goal. One of the things I was most impressed with is that we saw Ohio State make plays with 0 boost going for shots. And it was really difficult for Guelph to do anything about that in a situation where even when the offense is starved for boost, they're still making plays. How do you stop that? What adjustments do you think Guelph needs to make?
I think the biggest adjustment is controlling your own boost in your own half. Ohio State have gotten away with murder, not only taking the shot, missing the shot, and then rotating out to the corner and stealing away the boost. And I mentioned it in the middle of the game that the Griffins were just sitting on their goal line hoping that Ohio State doesn't shoot it onto the on target. And they actually didn't quite a bit. It was just a good rotation. Again, what we expect from Ohio State team is a structured offense, shot after shot. I think it was 13 coming out from Ohio State. So the Griffins, they need to control their boost a little bit more. And to be honest, they got to relieve the pressure, whether it's finding each other throughout their own half, or just long clears high into space, most likely into corners, is what will buy time to go for Guelph to get out, get boost, and get back on offense.
Wait, Corelli, are you condoning the booming of the ball into the corner?
Absolutely.
just
on record.
Just wanted to confirm.
On record.
We have it here. Kings rolling it up, and Threes is back for it. Off the kickoff. Let's see if Lycan has a quick pass to Harps. It's a save. Double commit by J-Bob, but the clear good enough for J-Bob to get reset and whiff. Lycan gonna pick that up off the backboard. Harps. Oh, J-Bob flying back. The hero they needed. Buckeyes stay 0-0.
Big save there. Nobody was on the screen of the shot, and J-Bob comes flying out of nowhere to make the last-second save, keeps the game tied up.
If you tuned in to a tournament called DreamHack Leipzig, that was very reminiscent of Taz from Team Echo Zulu just flying in off screen to make a crucial save. And Threes not able to find the touch against Plasma. And now they're finding these boomers, Corelli, that you wanted, and they're getting the boost here. Harps has it. It's just finding that touch that Lycan can't, and Ohio State moved that down the pitch. Looking for a demo as well off the line. He does get Lycan, but he didn't get Plasma, who had the play.
Well, it's important, too, to not get overzealous with just booms down the field. I really just said that to kind of relieve a little bit of pressure when shot after shot was coming. You really do want to keep possession, finding each other in the midfield, and finding each other in the box is what the Buckeyes have done here. Ohio State find the first goal on the board.
Threes that's just a great pass from Threes. J-Bob was in perfect positioning for that quick pass out. It's like there's 2 places J-Bob can place himself on that. He can place himself farther side of the post, expecting like a wider pass out, or he's like, no, I know Threes doesn't have the angle to do that. He recognized Threes' positioning, put himself close, near post to be able to take the shot. Just a well-played effort by Ohio State. Lycan Just trying to win a challenge. And you see everybody right now on Guelph, low on boost. The corner boost does spawn for their team, but nobody's in position to take that out. They do have possession of the ball, but they're just giving that away to Ohio State. When you have space like that, you have to utilize it. And it's not like he had less than 10 boosts and he couldn't carry the ball out. He absolutely could have carried that out, but instead he just takes a pot shot straight at the net. If you're gonna take a pot shot, at least try to go high or to the side, try to pull someone out of the goal line.
Something I always say is bringing the ball down and forcing the defender to make a decision. Once you throw the ball at his face, he's forced to make a decision there. He's got to get in front of it. If you bring the ball down and force the dribble on him, force him to say, okay, am I going to challenge? Am I going to fake challenge? Or how about if I score, says Lycan. It ties up the game for the Griffins at halftime.
And this one was just a matter of switching the boost game back into their favor. You see Plasma, he forces J-Bob up on that challenge, and he may have been able to make a play on that ball had he not been aggressive there on defense. You don't always have to get the demo. Sometimes just making the defender move is enough. It was there.
And it's much better from the Griffins here in game number 2. Halfway through the game, they're creating chances downfield, and they're not letting the Buckeyes lock them in on their own half, whether it's long clears or pinches like you see from Harps here, or the combination plays, finding yourselves downfield, a point man to create a dangerous attack.
J-Bob. Oh no, a bump was almost a critical error for Guelph. They hang on here, but it only serves the Buckeyes hunting for that game-leading goal and getting that ever-crucial two-game series lead. Kings from the corner, the pass down to J-Bob. Oh, he almost muscles his way through. Harps cleans it up onto the save. Now the transition, plays it slow. Look at him flick up. He's got it high off the backboard. Plasma's there. He can't get the second touch, and it's cleared away by threes.
I like the dribble coming out from Harps, but a big flick from him kind of slowed down the play there, forced Plasma to go for a tough shot. He still got it off, but Ohio State got back in rotation by that time.
What a demo.
Demo actually on J-Bob there from Harps, slows down the attack.
And it was completely intentional as well. He knew he didn't have the play on the ball, so he takes the player completely out. A great midair bump, but they still weren't able to move forward on it, and that's what matters here. Come Kings! The ball in front of the box, trying to force the issue is threes. J-Bob rolling around, he can't find the challenge against Plasma. Up high is Kings. Kings has a free look, the net is wide open. That shot is in there, there it is, and it's saved by Harps as he sets himself on the goal line. Guelph, hang on for now. Kings tease this up high, where's the follow-up?
Oh, there it is!
Off the post and in, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes with the lead.
J-Bob J. Beast. This guy is sitting at his computer desk with a cape on. He looks like an absolute superhero out here. My most favorite player so far today.
He's making saves on the back end off the screen, and he's ripping shots on the Guelph goal here. The Buckeyes regain the lead with less than a minute left.
Threes off the kickoff, can't find it there. Plasma looking for the kick downfield. It's a pass, but Harps, it was behind him, and he had no chance to get up for that. Excuse me, it was Lycan. Harps picking up the cleanup, if you will. And Guelph had a lot of good sequences in game number 2 here. They still have a chance with 30 seconds left. But the Buckeyes have taken control again. Plasma tries to force the issue against J-Bob. Here's their chance here. Oh, the touch just doesn't come through. Plasma keeping it out to the corner, looking to get by J-Bob. He can't. Now it's a transition down the other way. Kings can't find the touch. Threes picks it up. And from the out of nowhere, side swiping score, 3-1.
And you knew the Griffins were in trouble here with that ball bouncing a couple times. Harps just nowhere to be found, caught in no man's land between the goal and the ball. Threes takes advantage, up and over his head, and the Buckeyes get the lead to 2.
A little bit of English on it. I love those fadeaway jump shots. Just a little feather-light touch, and you just know it's going into the net. That's tough for Guelph.
The Buckeyes closed this out in really one of the more exciting ways possible. It was a tough game too. Guelph fought for so many possessions, and really they fixed a lot of the mistakes you saw them have in game number 1. They just weren't able, they needed more chances on net. That's really what it came down to. They were able to respond to the boost starvation by starving the Buckeyes of boost themselves on some of those sequences. It's a big reason why they scored their goal. But it wasn't enough.
Towards the middle of that game, there was a big shift in stature that I saw. The Ohio State started to concede more as some of the clears got more strength behind them and started finding the back wall. On the other side, though, it felt like Guelph were staying in panic mode. You guys pointed out like there was a solid shot on goal right to a defender instead of holding on to the possession, because I think they were still in that mindset of we just need to get the ball out of here. But once J-Bob re-energized the team, the Buckeyes again start to look aggressive. So again, my question is, University of Guelph, what adjustments do they need to make? Do they like blow J-Bob up some more?
I mean, that's always a good chance, a good idea, and I think you actually hit the nail on the head, is that Guelph do look panicked, especially when they're on offense, actually. They got caught out a couple times, and the Buckeyes just counterattack, go down the field. You look at their last goal in particular, and just caught out from the Griffins.
And already off the kickoff, the Buckeyes get another shot on net. And Guelph, they got no more lives left. This is it for them. This Ohio State A team has looked very strong, and really, I would argue, better than they did in their previous matchup today. That one high off the corner. For the Griffins, you want to see more of those plays that we saw from Harps that didn't lead to a goal, but he had space in the attacking third, decided to carry it and try to make the defender miss onto the play. You'd love to see more of that, and you do feel like it was a big issue for this team, playing that panicked game and hitting the ball away when they had no business of hitting the ball away when they can control it. So that really is the big thing for Guelph. That's a good pass to Lycan, but blocked by J-Bob.
And the Griffins here have an opportunity to go on offense. Immediately giving up there, Kings and Harps trying to fight for possession. Harps still making the second effort there. Threes forced to stutter just a little bit. As the University of Guelph here starting to put on the pressure once more. It's Harps now trying to find something off the back wall. Doesn't connect. Plasma to follow up. It's going to go just wide, and Harps to steal away the boost from Ohio State and try and make something happen once more.
Harps' touch there actually does a lot for Guelph than you might initially expect. They're not going to get anything out of it there, but taking the ball away from the defender and getting the boost out of it was a net positive in everything that you could have done. The only difference is they just couldn't get it across the box and take a shot on net. Still, the Buckeyes, it's taken them a little bit to ramp up, but they've kept the net clean for the most part. You feel like there was a couple of opportunities for Guelph where they could have scored, but no shot ever really came for them. And you see Threes trying to get nasty with Harps in the corner. Harps is the winner as it moves back downfield.
And it's better from Guelph here in this game in particular. They're having their chances on target, or at least putting some offensive pressure on Ohio State. Ohio State's offense has really slowed down. That's a big miss coming out from the defense. It's Kings on the blunder, and the Griffins find the first goal.
Yeah, it just comes down to a whiff on the backboard from Kings. He has to make this touch. He undercuts. It all started from the launch. He launched up way too under the ball. He got behind it, was never going to be able to make the touch.
Guelph is still very much in a position to begin that reverse sweep. Any opportunity that gets laid out for you, if you take it, you're definitely aware of how the game's going.
Oh, and the bump out to set things up, and Harps is there and headed the other way is Guelph trying to find the goal in the transition. Plasma's going backwards, and he can't do it. Lycan picks that up. Plasma just trying to bump one out of the way. He succeeds, and now in front of the box. Ohio State, they get away with it.
And look a little panicked on defense right now. The Griffins doing a good job of keeping possession and forcing some dangerous touches out of them. Plasma playing this one off the ceiling. Kings forced to go up for it. The Griffins slowly constricting, trying to find that cushion goal. Another one looking for the backboard here. Kings putting it away with no boost. And Ohio State get out.
And they're winning the boost battle right now, the Griffins are. They've gotten the last few midfield boosts. J-Bob finally picks up that one. That was the first out of the last 5 that Guelph didn't pick up. J-Bob able to work by 1. And it's picked up by Kings. Plasma wins the boost here in midfield, looking to move it back downfield. Harps on the wing, off the ceiling, looking for a shot, and it's there, but it's saved and blocked away. A good follow-up as well from Kings is available. Ohio State moved down the pitch again.
For Ohio State, the time keeps ticking here. A minute, just about 30 seconds left for them. They would love to close this one out in a 3-0 sweep and not have to worry about being reverse swept by Guelph. Remember, these teams have been very, very close the last few times we've seen them in the fall semester, and Guelph really haven't shown their full potential. Another whiff off the backboard as Threes lets that one go, but again, no one there to punish for the Griffins.
It was by an inch. Threes is thankful for his team for bailing him out on the play, but this is also dangerous. Plasma, he's got one man to beat, stays with it. It's got the boost available off the crossbar, and he forces the own goal. What a play from Plasma. 2-0 for Guelph.
And this is a tough one for Threes because Plasma's already up in the air with control of the ball, so he's got to just read what Plasma does with it. and he had maybe expected the bounce off the backboard, but Plasma kills it, drops it on top of Three's head, and makes him own goal it there. The Griffins extend their lead to 2.
Some holes are starting to present themselves in the defense of the Ohio State. University of Guelph were more than happy to capitalize.
It just goes to show you what you can do when you have boost. And Guelph have just done a better job of neutralizing the boost game for Ohio State. And how about all the demos to open it up? Plasma's shot is high. Oh, and Gage Bob gets bumped into demoing Plasma on the play, which, you know, may have actually caused the save as Plasma was just looking to keep the chaos going.
Oh my goodness, it's a
on
bloodbath.
The goal line. And it is, yeah, Michael Bay film matinee, if you will.
Oh my goodness.
Another demo, and they don't have the ball.
I think that was about 7 in the last 30 seconds. J-Bob gets the bump on Harps, and Ohio State have 30 seconds to tie up the game.
They drew it up. They said, pull the fullback. We're going full bore in threes. All you got to do is put it on target.
Harps tried so hard with that flip. He still had it after J-Bob bumped him off the ground there. And Ohio State, like I said, 29 seconds left to finish this one out in a sweep and equalize for overtime.
And now off the kickoff, they get it favorable here. Threes off the backboard, trying to force the issue with Kings. And oh, J-Bob needed to touch that, and he did. Otherwise, it was going to be the game-winning goal for Guelph. Threes cannot find any room. It's going to be Kings looking for J-Bob. He's got him, but defending well is Lycan. A good challenge in midfield. Trying to make one miss is Kings. Threes. He has to keep this in the air now for his team. It bounces back out. Looking for a touch is away from J-Bob, and Guelph force game number 4.
They absolutely do here for for the Griffins. A much better game, a much controlled game where they had a lot more pressure. Obviously, you can see it in the shots. It looks like 8 for Guelph on the opposed of 3 for Ohio State. So Ohio State not allowed to play their suffocating offense game plan that we saw in the first game. And the Griffins really adapting to how the Buckeyes play.
I feel like you pointed out, Jorby, the boost battle definitely started going over to Guelph, and it just kind of gave them a whole different angle in terms of their overall offense. But I also noticed a lot of flaws on the side of the Ohio State's defense. After they gave up that one goal, their whole posture just felt entirely different. University of Guelph looks to be a team that can capitalize on that. They definitely make the adjustments. What do you want to see now from the side of the Ohio State?
I think it's about finishing your chances when they arise and not making those overcommitting plays that we saw in this game. It seemed like the Griffins really took advantage of it when it presented itself, and they played a much better game here. So for Ohio State, it's about responding back with that game 1 synergy that they had going.
Plasma looking for Harps. And it's a good kick from Threes. Ohio State. Threes looking for a teammate in the corner. Something a lot of offenses can sometimes catch themselves is trying to force the issue in the offensive corner. J-Bob almost got that done himself. It is kicked out, but trying to do too much in the corners and sending more than one player to a corner, which is always a dangerous thing to do. That's a great touch from Kings to bail him out, but they're still in trouble. Lycan bounces it off the crossbar. Free, open for Plasma. He puts it to the top, and the Griffins are back in it.
A lot of bouncing balls happening here for Ohio State in their own box. You can see all 3 of them kind of watching these shots come through. Nobody really made a first effort on the shot, and then the second one comes through from Plasma. Beautiful placement from him to put that one away, and Guelph on the board first.
Ohio's playing like a team that's struggling to find their ground footing in this series. They need to just reset. So guys, we are up 2 for a reason. Let's just get back to doing what we do.
And up high is Threes. J-Bob shadowing closely. Kings. He's got to touch out to the corner, and a good idea by Harps on the play to go for the demo on the line. He got the bump, but didn't really mean much as the rest of Guelph were sitting pretty far back. And Plasma just buying some time, trying to get that touch as Harps. He actually does win on that play. Back to the opposite side, not a ton of action. Just waiting for really one team to crack. Boost battle in the first minute or so. Hasn't been nothing too heavy to scoff at, but there's a huge opening for J-Bob to tie the game here for the Buckeyes.
And it really is the beauty of Rocket League, Jorby. You say nothing's really happening, but slowly the Buckeyes posturing, and a double commit comes out from Guelph. Plasma's coming from the ceiling or from the top of the bar there, and Ohio State all of a sudden have an open shot.
This is something that was missing a lot for the Ohio State in game number 3, the Bob factor. He's getting back to business with these goals.
For Guelph now, responding back after a big mistake there from the Buckeyes. Again, still backs against the wall for them. 1 game away from being knocked out of this tournament for Ohio State. A sigh of relief as they're able to tie up this game early and not let the Griffins run away with this.
And it's hit up high here for Kings. Kings teeing it down for threes. Threes. That shot just hit out to the side. Harps looking for it as well. Good challenges by Guelph here on the defensive end, but still looking for the demo is J-Bobby. Reached across, didn't get it like and picked up the save.
I think the flip actually did him in there, trying to flip into the defender. Might have just flipped over them there. Lycan gets out of the way of that one, and we stay equal.
Kings forced to touch out. J-Bob can't get there. Just hit out to the corner. Lycan wanting to tee up somebody on the play, but it's only going to be Kings, and Kings forced to make that touch with no boost. He wasn't going to be able to challenge any later on it. J-Bob straight touched out. That shot's in. Threes. Ohio State, the lead.
And it seems like Griffins really weren't reacting to this play. Not the best clear as J-Bob beats the next defender, and it comes straight out to threes. The defender's left in net. Lycan trying to make the save, and he really can't do anything about it. The play's just so developed. He's just got to make a guess on where he's going to shoot it and try and make the save. And the Buckeyes find themselves in the lead at halftime.
So a tee up, and it's been good for the Buckeyes. The defense has been strong, and the shots have been plenty in the first half.
One of the things we haven't seen is the buddy cop action movie that is Harps Plasma passing to each other. We've seen a lot of punishing of mistakes. If that aspect gets added in, we could see Game 5.
And it hasn't been available for them. There's just been so much pressure by Ohio State that those infield passes, they've been cut off. And every time they do try to pass the ball downfield, they've been cut off. And a lot of it has to do with just superior positioning by Ohio State on a lot of those plays. A great bump. Oh, he got back to at least get the touch. It doesn't matter. Beautiful play by Plasma.
And this is a great bump going from Plasma here as he sees Kings in net. Kings actually dodges the bump there, tries to get back around to it, but it buys just enough time for Lycan to come through on the shot, and Guelph tied up.
Lycan laughs in boom shakalaka. Getting those dunks, I like it.
Oh, Kings gave way for threes on the kickoff, looking for the next touch. He got it, and now Lycan and Harps both forced up. Plasma able to get the crucial clear out. If J-Bob gets even a piece of that, well, Guelph were in trouble. They're bailed out for now. Kings giving way for threes. Threes, the short hop air dribble, if you will. Turned into just an air dribble. J-Bob, pass out. Who's it gonna be? Kings and threes. Their power combined equals nothing. And threes without a boost. Kings keeping that in play, just buying time for the Buckeyes. That's all that touch is going to do for him. J-Bob back over to Kings. It's too wide. Harps. Oh, he gets another touch onto it. Again, nothing develops there. It's the one touch. Okay, you got the next touch, and you're waiting for the shot, and the shot never comes.
And for Guelph, they are slowly getting locked in, but as soon as I say it, a little bit of space breaks through from Plasma, but Ohio State are definitely keeping most of the possession here as we go late into the game number 4 here. For the Griffins, they've got to figure it out soon. Another possible breakaway here as Harps puts it into the Buckeye corner.
Plasma. He's challenged again. And I think war of attrition is really what it comes down to. What's happened in this game so far. It's just been battling for inches on the field. Just that next continuation that neither team can find. That shot lane, if you will, has been shut down. Here's another chance. Plasma. He's going to look high, and Plasma had a real chance to carry that ball. He didn't have a lot of pressure. The demo opens things up off the back wall. Kings has that touch. Ohio State living by solid defense right now. Kings chasing this ball down against Harps. Harps couldn't find the touch. Kings takes control in the corner. J-Bob up on the sidewall, looking off the backboard. Harps is there. He's got it defended. Lycan, does he have that touch? Oh, and the ball's still up as time expires.
So
Can they have a play
Kings
here?
back.
They let it overtime.
And he can't blame Kings, playing it safe there. Don't want to see a clear go over his head. He's the last man back. Into overtime here. Guelph, it's do or die. They've got to win this game.
And they didn't win the kickoff, or that Guelph did win the kickoff. Here's Lycan looking for the play. J-Bob clears it away. Chasing it quickly is Kings. He can't get there in time for Plasma. Three's up for this as well. It's high, and now Ohio State have a little bit of time. Up high is Kings. Kings around the corner looking, but Harps has been pretty solid on the backboard. And now J-Bob looking for the pass out to Kings. It's way behind him. Kings catches it out against Plasma here.
And Guelph have got to capitalize on these errant passes coming out from Ohio State. You see them make the passes, and it's either great or it's behind a player, and the Griffins just haven't been able to capitalize.
The touch out. Harps is going to be able to play this out. I thought it was potentially dangerous, but Kings gets the touch out there. fighting Harps. He can't find it, and both of his teammates are playing back, respecting the clear potential from Ohio State. Ohio State still can't find a way out. I mean, a lot of these defensive touches are just so high, their teammates can't get to them in time. That's a big whip!
Oh, no.
Advantage. Guelph take game 4, and they take it to game 5.
And really an unforced error here from threes. He just had to get a touch on it. Harps follows it up once he sees the mistake go through, and all of a sudden, Guelph here find themselves with a game number 4 victory. We're going to game 5.
Guelph is in a situation where your back's against the wall. You make it to overtime, you drop a goal, you're out of the entire tournament. The mental endurance, who's going to break first? One unforced error, talking about game number 5, in a region where I think this might be the first game 5. Coming off of East, where like every match, it felt like was a game 5, to finally get one here. Guelph, they've made the adjustments, they've answered back. They deserve game 5.
And it's about taking advantage of the Ohio State mistakes. We saw it there in that game, and I think now a lot of the pressure is on Ohio State because now this is their season on the line, and they're even worse. They're in danger of being reverse swept, which feels no better than being knocked out of a single elimination tournament. So a little bit of pressure is like, hey, you played really well in the beginning, and all of a sudden it's like things are falling apart.
They got to remember what they did to get those first 2 games in their favor as strongly as they did, but it comes down to this. Game number 5, University of Guelph taking on the Ohio State University. One goes on, one goes home. Who wants it more?
Threes. You can't force that one out. Up high, Kings looking. Harps was just waiting. He was begging Kings to hit that ball down to him, and Harps was able to get to it. Guelph still on the attack. And it's a good pass back over to Lycan as well. That just allows so much guesswork that you have to play. Opens things up for Plasma. Scores the first goal of the game for the Griffins. They take an early lead.
No boost on the side of the Buckeyes here. J-Bob goes awkward off the post there, and they do make the save, but it comes straight out to Plasma at the top of the box. The third man not back for the Buckeyes. And the Griffins, lo and behold, in game number 5, take the lead in the first 40 seconds.
And off the kickoff, again, the Griffins, Lycan, shot, goal, 2-0 for the University of Guelph.
And Ohio State having flashbacks now to last season, dropping series after series to Guelph. And all of a sudden, the first 45 seconds, the Griffins looking very strong on offense, and the defense not reacting from the Buckeyes side.
It just feels like the Buckeyes are running out of steam. You saw it right at the end of the overtime. They have just been moving a tick slower, where the Guelph team is just picking up speed. They got to turn this around.
Teed up out to the side. Lycan trying to find a pass out and blocked by threes on the play. Harps looking to play it slow, the touchdown. And Harps has really been the pace changer, if you will, on the side of the Griffins. When he's given the space, he's used it most of the time. And we talked about after games 1 and 2 that Guelph needed to utilize their space more. They've absolutely done that. And for Ohio State now, they're in that same position, I feel, where a lot of times it feels like they're giving the ball away for no reason. And give credit to Guelph's offense and the amount of pressure that they've generated, because that pressure overall is gonna just make you sweat, because you always feel like there's another car behind you, and you always feel like, all right, I gotta slap this ball down to Texas. I don't know where, but really far from the north. So Texas is the first thing that came to my mind, but still, you know, it's tough to not feel that pressure for Ohio State, especially now that they had a 2-game lead, and this is in game 5, to where you feel like everything they do now is just going to be under pressure. Every touch that they make is going to be under pressure. Game number 4 was just all whiffs. The goals that they got scored on were just them whiffing off the backboard. You don't whiff there, and we're talking about a Buckeye victory forever ago. So instead, it's Guelph taking advantage of those mistakes, forcing the Buckeyes to feel this pressure. And now you have a 2-goal lead for Guelph. You're about halfway through.
And there were pretty weak mistakes coming out for the Buckeyes as well. Just kind of whiffed balls like you're talking about, leaving nets open for the Griffins. And it really is credit to the Griffins to be there and capitalize as this ball cleared back towards the Guelph side. Ohio State trying to answer back after quick early goals and threes. Just that. Just at halftime, just in time for Ohio State, give themselves a chance at Game 5.
Yeah, so Harps gets that first touch, and it needs to be a follow-up from Plasma, but Plasma was not ready to get turned around on that. He was driving backwards to try to get back into that ball. It freed up Ohio State to take possession and a quick goal, a good counterattack.
I want to see more of that out of the Ohio State, being quick and pouncing off those balls that come around the corner. I want to see them get aggressive again. It felt like both teams took their gloves off at the end of game number 3. I want to see some more of that physical play.
And the square up once. Harps has an open net to get back to. If he can do it, he's out of boost, and he gets there in time to put Guelph up. That insurance goal, he gets it back.
That last defender there, Threes, almost getting back there in front of Harps. You can see that last flip. He's right in front of the ball, but Harps rips it just by him, and an immediate response from the Griffins puts them back up by 2.
We've seen this at the very beginning where they're so far forward, the ball squeaks past them, and they're not able to get back there in time. This is not the time to go down memory lane in terms of mistakes.
Harps back over to Plasma, in danger here. The Buckeyes looking, but there's that respect. And you know who's been quiet in the last 2 games? Really, J-Bob. Hasn't been his typically aggressive self in games 3, 4, and 5. Now it's headed the other way. Threes, does he have the game-tying goal? It's off the post and in for J-Bob. Ohio State, not the game-tying goal. They pull within 1.
And that's a great clear from J-Bob as well, high into space. And it's a little bit of a breakdown in the rotation from Guelph. Plasma really far back there to receive the clear. Threes can't put it away, but J-Bob follows it up off the post. And there's still life for the Buckeyes.
It's like he heard you, Jorby. J-Bob's like, all right, let me get back on the board then. 1 goal away from tying it up.
Oh, and another shot off the kickoff from Kiggs. He tried to follow it up, but Lycan, a great touch off the top of his card. Threes chasing this one down. It's headed the other way again. J-Bob forced to make this touch. This time he does. Harps. That was actually a solid continuation. He just wasn't able to get back to the ball in time. He ran out of boost and straight down. And the Buckeyes denied by the crossbar. No matter if you're the A team, if you're the B team, they pick it up off the rebound. The Buckeyes recover and tie the game.
So it all starts with a midfield pass, a rip off the backboard there. Kings just finesses it back down to J-Bob, and J-Bob puts it away, albeit at the defender, but still could make the save. And Ohio State comes rumbling back, an offense looking very strong for their 3rd goal to tie it up.
Now it's Sleppy's and crew's turn to turn around and be the ones popping off for their team. Ohio State, they might be looking at overtime, they might be looking at the series.
Oh, it flipped right by him, Lycan to bail Plasma out onto the play. It flipped right under his Octane. Oh, that's an open net for Guelph.
Again.
Goal for Lycan. Ohio State are killing themselves in this series with 52 seconds left.
That one really hurts to see. A big miss there on the corner, and Kings racing back to try and get there. Lycan will say thank you very much. We'll take another free goal. And in a game number 5, the Buckeyes have their backs against the wall.
The Buckeyes have been trying to claw their way back into this game at every turn. These mistakes that they're getting punished for.
What a pass.
Devastating.
Oh, I was so excited. It was just, those kind of passes are always sick. To have it be as on target as it was. That shot's all blocked by Plasma. Still in trouble. Kings actually cuts it off. Thick Threes might have been out of boost on the play. He buys Threes a second to get back in time to make the touch out.
So 30 seconds left. The Griffins could put this one away with another goal. Still knocking on the door. Plasma bring this ball around. And for Ohio State, trying to stifle this attack and go back on offense, it could be their chance right here. A light touch comes out from Lycan. He's going to follow it up with 10 seconds left. Ohio State, they've got to make it now.
They're going to try to move here. Oh, that good touch from Harps to kill it. Threes downfield. He's looking for J-Bob. J-Bob flips into it. Almost gets it. Shots! Oh! With 0 seconds left. Unbelievable. You thought it was over. J-Bob keeps the play alive. Kiggs' shot is blocked, and you think it's over. But Threes doesn't give up on the play. He scores and sends it to overtime. Holy moly.
Wow, I want to talk about that play, but we're going straight into an overtime here. Ohio State have got to be feeling good after that play. The passing plays pay off, and you got to give credit to J-Bob on the touch, but you have to finish the job here.
J-Bob carries it the whole way through. The Buckeyes have struggled. They won the first 2 games of the set. Can they close it here? They're in midfield, picked up and knocked down here by Harps. Harps the other way for Lycan. Lycan up high against the backboard. No one from Guelph are going to immediately be able to follow it up, but that's a straight pass to Plasma. It's off the crossbar. And into the net. Plasma gifted the win. Gifted day 3. The Griffins stay strong, flying high. They move on.
Wow, talk about a comeback for Guelph. Not only did they get a reverse sweep, but they respond back after a last-second goal from Ohio State. The free ball comes out to Plasma, and he puts it away from the Griffins. They put the Buckeyes to sleep, and they move on to Game 3.
Such a tough break for the Ohio State. They battled back. One team loses at the 0-second mark. The one team ties it back up and forces out the overtime. Just unlucky. Giving that goal away there at the end for overtime, oof.
Well, Ohio State were their own worst enemy here in this game. A lot of errors coming out, whiffs that just let the ball roll in, or fly in front of their net or roll across their net, whatever you want to say. And then, of course, giving the ball away at the top of the box there to Plasma. You can't do that. He's going to hit that shot.
I did not understand that touch at the end. It was frustrating to watch the Buckeyes really give that one away. Anyways, continue.
I agree. It is. It is frustrating. I'm sure they're just as frustrated, especially coming off of a great last-second goal there. But for the Buckeyes, it's over for them now. And for Griffins, they move on in an exciting, thrilling Game 5.
We definitely got an absolute barn burner there to round out the evening. On the other side, though, you have to give it to Guelph because anytime there was a mistake on the table, they capitalized. And I think they were one of the most punishing teams we've seen, not only at the North, but perhaps all of CRL. Just every mistake, every missed rotation, every missed touch, the ball's going in the back of the net. You're paying for it every time.
And I think for Guelph, too, they really adapted to this Ohio State team. It felt like Ohio State kind of got the better of them in game number 1. They got locked into their own end. They really couldn't find a way out. And then all of a sudden, things started to change late into this game. Obviously, they gave up game number 2, excuse me. But then game number 3 rolls around. They kind of start to fight back. Game number 4, they come back. And game number 5, they come back. And they really make the comeback in the reverse sweep. And I think for Guelph, this is a fantastic win for them. They've done it again. They beat them in the fall. They're beating them in the spring now. And for Guelph, they got to feel good.
A lot of that series just felt like lost and found for me, where it was like, at one moment, J-Bob shows up, J-Beast then shows up, and he absolutely pops off. But then in games 3 and 4, he's nowhere to be seen. On the other side, for Guelph, I was really impressed with Lycan's ability to get their offense going at the beginning of the series. I was really looking forward to seeing Harps and Plasma pass the ball back and forth and get their offense going that way. But it was really cool to see Lycan step up and be that lightning rod for the team. Did you guys also feel that?
Yeah, I think it's all about respect. And I don't think Ohio State respected Guelph's defense in the first game. But then Guelph said, hey, we can clear the ball, we can keep possession, we can make you work for it. And then that's when Ohio State, we saw it. We talk about J-Bob, he had to sit back a little bit farther and says, hey, Guelph's going to boom it over our head or have a counterattack off our back wall, that we have to have someone back to stop. That respect was not shown in game number 1, but it slowly came through for Ohio State, and Guelph were able to take advantage.
On the other side of it, going into game number 3, it's like, okay, Ohio State, they're one game away from winning this entire series. What really changes, and I do think a lot of it was taking some of the proverbial starch out of J-Bob's overall offense. He was getting detonated more often than not, especially at the end of game number 3, and just taking that playmaking potential just seemed to really give them an opportunity. Do you think that was the big adjustment that allowed the beginning of that reverse sweep?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to say. I think that I really just think it was the Buckeyes. I think that they whiffed on easy clears, they whiffed on easy backboard reads, and like when you miss on those, and of course Guelph are going to score on you. I mean, yes, we can give credit to Guelph for capitalizing on mistakes, but like there's not much to be said when the other team whiffs. It's like, okay, well, we just hit the ball instead. I think the Buckeyes just they got into their own heads. They didn't find the touches, and they lost the game. That's it.
I think the Buckeyes shot themselves in the right foot, and then they shot themselves in the left foot, and then they tried to crawl through into the overtime there,
and shot their knees.
And then they got tabletopped in the end there. And I think that you look back on the series, and it's just mistake after mistake from Ohio State. And while the first 2 games were great, 3 and 4 were great too, not so good as it goes down the line, and they just give up some weak goals, and Guelph stay in it.
You guys hit the nail on the head there, because game number 5, it was so heartbreaking to see the Ohio State start to claw their way back in, and then they give away another goal, and they give away one to close out the game over in overtime. Guelph, they do move forward. One of the questions that I have is, we're complimenting their ability to punish, but is that going to be enough against some of the other teams that are in the North region? Do you see any way for Guelph to move forward and potentially take this whole region?
No, listen, I think that Guelph still played well. And I think that just all of their chances were generated by mistakes from the other team. You can't simply rely on the other team making mistakes and expect to go to Minneapolis. I don't think that's the case at all, but I do think that Guelph put themselves in solid positions to be able to generate chances. It's just that when the other team hands you the chances, you don't have to do any work on that end. So, no, to answer your question, Haloran, waiting on other teams to make mistakes will not continue to net you victories. That being said, I think Guelph are good enough of a team to generate their own chances.
And I think, too, for Guelph, you think about the other teams in this tournament at this point, Akron and of course, Waterloo. And Guelph took down Ohio State in fall semester, and they've done it here again, but they lost 1-3 to both of those teams. So if they rear their ugly heads late into this tournament in day 3, Guelph's got to really be tested here at this point and kind of have a redemption match from fall semesters.
A lot of this does feel like redemption for Guelph. It's just like, we got to improve. We've been middle of the pack. We have to break out. One of the things that we were looking for this team was some of the passing play between Harps and Plasma, but they never really showed up. And Jorby, you pointed out, because their passes were getting poached. What adjustments do you want to see for their offense going further into the bracket now?
It's just more conservative positioning, I think, is if a team is being able to shut down all your passing lanes, and we actually did see that adjustment from Guelph later, where you saw Harps, Plasma, and Lycan all slow the ball down when they were afforded space, because that's where you start to change the game up, is because eventually a team will give you space just by nature of how the boost battle goes in a game. You have to be able to utilize that to be able to change the pace. Like that moment where you get space to dribble the ball and try to make a defender miss, that's your chance to change the pace of the game back into your favor and to get real possession of the ball.
Absolutely. Guelph does move forward. Let's take a look at the bracket. Game 5, it goes down to overtime. 3-2 University of Guelph. Got a little ugly there at the beginning. They managed to push forward. Their next challenge is going to be Illinois.
And I didn't mention Illinois when I was talking about the other teams they've played at league play, but of course that is who they will be playing next. And Guelph was swept by UIUC last season, the last time they played in fall semester. So really, for all the teams that are left here in the Northern Conference for Guelph that they've seen before, they've been beaten by, and against Illinois, they were beat pretty badly.
You know, the challenge only gets worse for these teams as they move further into the bracket. Illinois definitely is a team that they're not going to make as many mistakes as we saw from the Ohio State. So it is going to be a big challenge for Guelph to move forward. Let's take a look at the other side of the bracket, though. A lot more narratives to see. Akron looking like absolute steamrollers in the bracket so far. Waterloo in Nebraska? You win that series, it feels good. But Akron's still waiting for you.
Yeah, and I really think that whoever comes out of that matchup between Waterloo and Nebraska will test Akron. I think that, you know, the walk for Akron is over, and they're going to have to start running here. So it gets tough in day 3 for Akron.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, again, if Akron were to play, actually, so interesting note here. Let's just say that Waterloo win that game. I don't know if they will, but Akron were actually beat by Waterloo 3-0 the last time they came up against each other. So for Akron, I think you guys hit the nail on the head in saying that it's really you're out of the crawl here, you're walking, and you need to start running very, very quickly.
One of the things that really stuck out for me for Nebraska is just their midfield and long-range capability. You don't necessarily need to have fast transitions if you're just nailing shots from pretty much your own goal. That's something that could help them out. We'll see how that goes going forward. But what you guys have to say with the Twitch chat poll? A lot of people probably felt Guelph could take it. We were like, oh, it's a flip, like just toss a coin and see who's going to win. It ended up being that 55% goes over to University of Guelph. You got it right this time, guys.
Yeah,
They were almost wrong.
Almost wrong, but it was still a pretty close line for Twitch chat there, and really did look like Ohio State were going to take it after those first 2 games. Just kind of imploded at the end, and well done, Twitch chat. Well done.
University of Guelph, they move on. We got Lycan on the line. Lycan, congratulations on your victory. It comes down to the end in overtime. How hyped up were you guys when you got that goal?
Oh, man, every single goal. It was just, you could hear my voice right now, every single goal. Need those palms high.
I like it.
And I do want to go back to the goal that puts you guys into overtime. Ohio State scores that one. I want to get your perspective on it. Obviously, we were freaking out here on the desk watching it, but what happened? How did that play develop, and why did it happen?
Well, they're so patient. They're so good at passing right in front of the net. If there's an open net, they'll just say, you know what, I'm gonna pass it to my teammate, and they'll pass it out, and they'll screw us over. Everyone will dive for it. So, props to them for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Lycan, heading into day 3, man. First off, you know, you feeling good? You're feeling good, right?
Yeah.
You got it. Excellent.
Feeling really good right now.
What is the main thing you feel like you still need to work on? Obviously, that game against Ohio State was very back and forth. So what's that main thing you need to work on heading into day 3?
Rest, man, rest. Plasma pulled an all-nighter. I've been at school a lot. Essays. We need freaking rest. We need rest.
Sleep well, my friend. You guys earned it. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're definitely going to need
Thanks
the
a lot,
rest up
guys.
against your next challenge over there in Illinois. Congratulations again, man. Looking forward to see how you shape up tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And hey, for everyone listening out there that's currently grinding in Rocket League, competitive Rocket League, I'll just piggyback off of what Lycan said, is that rest is an integral part of your ability to improve at anything, including Rocket League. So if you're out there and you want to compete in the CRL, or you're trying to get into the rival series with your team, do not overwork yourself. Overwork is a real issue, especially with video games. You feel like you can push yourself for 12 hours. Don't. Rest is extremely important. Obviously, for these college kids, they have to balance this and school at the same time. I mean, you heard that Plasma is pulling an all-nighter. Lycan's got essays to write. For those of you who don't have school as that backing, rest, super important. You have to sleep. You're a human being. It's just how life is.
You know, you get to game 5, you go in overtime. You know something that's pretty good? Being restful and having the energy to actually be able to do that. Who do you guys think is going to win this overall? Use hashtag CRL19. I don't know who's going to come out on top, but we'll find out tomorrow. I can't wait for it. I hope to see you guys there, 4 p.m. Pacific. But for now, have a good night.
Slide my hand.
No.
No!
Oh.